Lamb 4/4 is a fantastic cut of meat to cook with. You can cook it fast on a barbecue or you can slow cook it, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing today, serving it with some red Brussels sprouts and some plums. Now, the Lamb 4/4 has a little bit of bone through it, and you can see there's some fat there too. It actually comes from the shoulder. It is so succulent when it's cooked. So I'm going to start this on the stovetop and then we're going to move it to the oven. I'm using a pan that can go into the oven too, so you can either do it in the pan to start with and then put in a baking dish. So on with the heat. We want it to be quite high because at this stage we're just sealing everything off. A good glug of extra virgin olive oil. And I like to season the lamb now, so good pinch of salt. And then we'll just tap that all over our meat. Right, we'll get them into the pan. Nice sizzle. And you don't want it to be overcrowded. That fits just perfectly. Okay, while they're getting some colour, let's prepare one onion. So one Spanish onion, cut that in half, and then just really roughly slice it. I don't want it to be too thin because I just don't want it to dissolve away. We want to really see the definition of the onion in this. So just little wedges. And you may notice we've gone with a bit of a purple theme here, including our plums. These are just jarred plums. If they're in season, by all means use them. But these are fantastic just to give us a little pop of sweetness. It goes quite nicely with our lamb. And then these gorgeous red Brussels sprouts. Look at their purple tinge. They're delightful and they're tender and nutty as they cook. So I'm going to add this all together for it to cook. Now let's turn over our Lamb 4/4. That's what we're looking for. A nice deep golden colour, because that is going to give us a beautiful golden sauce. Smells fantastic. Right, I'm just going to return them back to the plate just for a moment because I need some space just to seal off our onions. So just pop them to one side. In with our onions. And this is essentially going to be the bed that the lamb is going to sit on. So onions in. Give them a bit of a toss. And our Brussels sprouts. So these are so tiny that I don't need to cut them in half. We're just going to add them whole. Look at those gorgeous colours. A few more. A little jiggle. And you can see if the pan's slightly dry, don't be afraid to add some extra virgin olive oil just to get it going. And I like to start this process first before I add my garlic because I don't want my garlic to burn. Okay. Some preserved lemon. I love this ingredient, but you have to be careful not to overdo it because it can really overpower the whole dish. So I'm only using one wedge of preserved lemon. I take out the flesh because what we want is the skin and finely chop it. So I'm going to add that, mix that through, and our garlic can go in. Just break that up and toss that around. It's really smelling lovely now. To this we'll add our beautiful plums. I'm going to leave them whole, but you can cut them if you like. And deglaze with some red wine vinegar. To this I'll also add some stock, so just some chicken stock. We want about 250 mils of chicken stock. And our lamb can go back in. So we'll just rest that on top. It's okay if the lamb sort of is quite snug at this stage because it will shrink slightly. And you can see all these beautiful juices on the plate. Don't waste that, that's flavour. In it goes. The last thing I want to add is some allspice, a beautiful spice that goes with lamb. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. I didn't want to add this at the beginning because it will burn. So you want to add it at this stage before it goes into the oven. So this goes into the oven around 180 degrees and it's going to cook for about 45 minutes. Keep an eye on it. If a lot of the liquid goes, just replenish it with some more stock. Well, this smells fantastic. The meat is tender, everything is caramelised. Look at those beautiful little Brussels sprouts and the plums there. I'm just going to spread it just a little, just so we can really show it off, because this is something you don't portion up. Everyone can help themselves at the table. And just for a pop of colour, fresh parsley if you have. You could also add some nuts, so pistachios would go quite nicely with this, I guess I'd say Middle Eastern inspired dish. So a little sprinkle of fresh parsley over the top. And just because I love that fresh flavour of the extra virgin olive oil over the top. That's served with some couscous, absolutely perfect.